Hi, Tammy.
Hey, Andy.
What accent? I didn't know I was saying anything. So we're glad that you're here. You made a 4-hour drive, you and your family, from Christiansburg. We appreciate it very much. And so Christiansburg is 4 hours away. So we had to optimize, and Liz helped you with that. Optimize your hemoglobin. It was very low, around 10, you said? And we had to get to 15. So that was quite a trip. So now you came to Hopkins how many times round trip?
Well, like I was mentioned earlier, we actually did about 6 times. September 4th was the first time. That was Labor Day, as people know. We were up here to meet with Dr. Frank and Dr. Cameron and you and the team, and we discussed what was going to happen and what I had to do, and right away. And then we didn't have a lot of time. So that was the first day, and that was the day that he took me down to get my blood CBC checked, to see where we were and what we needed to do at that point.
Okay.
Then right away, once they found out where it was, he called me that evening when we were at the Inner Harbor.
Who did?
Dr. Frank.
Okay.
And he was actually home calling me. Now this is what, he does his work at home a lot. And he told me what we needed to do and get schedules. I was scared to death. I didn't, at the time, didn't even know if I still wanted to go through this because I was just nervous wreck. And he reassured me everything, what we had to do, and this is what we had to do. There's no options. So him and Liz got coordinated the next day for me in Virginia to go to this Blue Ridge Cancer Center there to get the iron and EPO, or EPO and the iron. Well, we come in that was an obstacle because they want me to start right away that week, so I get back up here. Well, my insurance didn't want to pay for it because guess what? I wasn't anemic. And being a Jehovah's Witness, as my doctor there said, he felt that they were trying to discriminate me. So I got a meal on the phone. My dad and I got on the phone and talked to Liz that day. Her and Dr. Frank got on it right away and said, we want you up here at Hopkins this Friday. So we did. I did that 3 times. And of course that wasn't easy because my dad had to get up, as mentioned earlier. We got
quarter to 1 in the morning?
Yeah, 1:45 at night. Drove up here so we could miss some of the traffic, at that time. And then we rested a while and ate breakfast before I had my first, infusion.
So infusion, IV infusion means intravenous, which means needles.
Yes,
How
I'm very terrified.
How do you feel about needles?
Very, very terrified. And that's one option. I did not want to have the surgery. As a lot of friends know, this came from Virginia, knows that I'm very terrified, and that was one of the major things. But this doctor at home, he gave me this cream to put on, and that kind of eased my pain. They reassured me because I didn't feel it when they put in, as long as I did it an hour before. So that kind of helped ease my nerves a little bit in there.
So now, during those visits, you had 6 round-trip visits and 3 round-trip IV visits that you weren't looking forward to. So did you ever feel like stopping at any time?
Well, many times I did. As many times my mom had called you, and you would talk to me to encourage me on the phone. The friends in the congregation at that time encouraged me because they knew how serious it was and how upset I would get. Liz and Dr. Frank both talked to me many times on the phone. She called me, encouraged me, and reassured me that everything was going to be okay. And of course, Dr. Frank many times, through emails and talks, it wasn't for them, I couldn't have got through it. So that's what I'm, very thankful for that.
Besides Liz and Dr. Frank helping you, who else encouraged you to go on?
My mom and dad, majorly, sitting right there, they
You think they would
went through
stand
a lot.
up? You think they would stand up for us?
My husband, and Mary Houseman there, and Donna Robinette, and Gina Elvire is in our congregation there.
It's like Academy Awards here.
And 4 hours away.
We have a lot of support today. Friends came up from Christiansburg today, just to see. Wonderful. Now, the HLC, or Hospital Liaison Committee, is in place in Maryland, in many hospitals, so that Jehovah's Witnesses that come into the hospital have an emergent situation, and there's a problem getting a doctor to operate without blood, or to treat a patient without blood products. That's where the HLC comes in. So, on the day of the surgery, your mom asked me a question. Remember what that was? The day of the surgery.
Day of surgery, she says, Andy, do we need to contact our HLC to come up during all this happening?
And what did I say?
You said, not if they want to bring coffee and donuts.
That's all I really, yeah.
Reassured, because, it's 4 hours away, but our brother was contacting Mom and Dad through the course of the time, checking all the time, and texting and emailing, and even friends from every other place. They couldn't believe I knew so many people that I knew to keep up with through the surgery, because Dad says, you must know 500 people, through the whole time. And then, of course, Sister Dion Crudup there, the one I met the first day here, September 4th, we've come very close. So Jehovah's, to incorporate a little bit of that, Jehovah's organization is very united all over. And for us, we've become very close friends. And I got to know her, and she helped me get through it as well. She come visit me in the hospital, so thankful for that, just to meet her that day.
So now, Tammy, how was your stay at the hospital and the interaction with the other medical team, the other staff members, nurses, and people like that? How was that interaction with them?
Well, it's very well, very good. Yourself, come and see me every day. Liz came to see me every day. Dion, that works here at Johns Hopkins, came to see me the other day. And then, of course, another sister that I never met before came to see me. And I wasn't in my right mind at that time, so please forgive me, because I was coming off a lot of this medication. As they told me, I was on a lot of medicine, and the wires, I was hooked up a lot. I had a lot of fluid that, from being on the surgery. So I had a lot of interaction with the medical staff. The nurses was wonderful. They, I didn't have to tell them, make sure you use pediatric tubes, because Dr. Frank and you and Dr. Cameron and Liz were on top of it. And I was grateful for that, because y'all made sure you don't need to do it twice a day. She's a low person to check her blood. And of course, they come during the night, and check you at midnight when you're finally going to sleep. And there's one nurse there, she got so tickled. She says, you're just so tiny, you're just so tiny. How would you ever have open heart surgery? I just couldn't believe it. But, so there's all really good, really caring, and made me feel a lot better. But I do know when I had the, what do you call that, the blood thinner?
The heparin.
Heparin. And of course, they had to take me off of that because my white blood cells had gone down one day.
Platelets.
Platelets, yeah. And of course, they gave it to me when I was out with the breathing tube for 4 days. And I didn't know anything about it. But once I came through, the nurses, I said, don't be giving me no needle without me putting that number cream on for an hour. So they respected, and they appreciated my feelings, and really that helped a whole lot getting through it.
Speaking of visitors during your stay, you had an unusual visitor during your stay, post-surgery. Who was that? Remember that person that rarely comes around?
Oh, yes. The doctor, what's his name, the Russian anesthesiologist?
Dr. Baraka.
Yeah, Baraka. He told my mom, when he was out there, she's asking, well, how did Tammy do? He said, well, by Jehovah's Witness standards, she done great. He was thoroughly impressed. Well, then when they had me finally getting up a little bit in the ICU before I went to PCU, I was walking down the hall with the monitors and stuff up there, and he saw me when he brought another patient through. He waved, and talked to me, and said, he's so great, I've done a great job. He said, you're doing great, you keep up the good work. Then the next day, when they took me off all this, some of the other wires and stuff, he sat down and talked to me for a little bit and told me what a great job I'd done, and he was really proud of me, and I'm going to get through this, and you just take one day at a time. And I understand he does not do that at all with people. Very rare. So I was thoroughly impressed with that. It made me feel good that, that all the friends and people there, all the doctors and all the nurses, they really care. I mean, they can tell they really like their job, they care about their patients, they care about helping people.
Well, now you're back at work. You were out of work for a year. When you were diagnosed with this situation, with this condition, you had to go off work. You were on disability. So you were off work for a year, went back. How is it being back at work now?
Well, it is very challenging.
What do you do, first of all? Tell the audience.
Well, thankfully, I work for PepsiCo, which is, the part that I work for is called Frito-Lay. And it's been very challenging because I'm a route salesperson. I drive the truck, believe it or not, like a UPS truck. And so a lot of friends back home can't believe I'm a little person like I am driving this truck and delivering potato chips. But that's kind of how it saved my life, because we had DOT physical. And my blood pressure was 250 over 0. That's where all this started, last May 7th. And me, a few days when I went to my doctor, he could not believe what happened. He said, you're done working. We got to get you to another hospital. And then I came here. That kind of went from there. There's a lot of things involved. But it's been very challenging to go back to work because I do work 12 to 14 hours a day and to get proper rest. And I go to physical therapy yet still to get my strength to do my job. Because I am very tender through my chest yet because I'm wired and glued. It's a Virginia Tech thing, like they say or something, I don't know, but I'm just thankful to be here, but at the same time, it is a very challenging. Liz will tell you, I knew last year with my job, which was fear of me, first 6 months, and Andy knows that if I didn't make it back 6 months, I was going to go lose my route, and then I would become, an extra, but I did keep my seniority and kept my job, and I was thankful for that. But in the same time, it's been very challenging for a year to know when you go back, you're all over the place, and that's very stressful because you don't know where you're going to be and what time you got to get up because every route's different. So, with Jehovah's help, I'm doing everything, taking one day at a day.
So, Tammy, some final words on the folks that you want to acknowledge throughout this whole ordeal.
Well, I'd like to thank, first and foremost, Jehovah, my God, because when I came off the breathing tube that night, like Liz and some of them know that I was on a Saturday night late, and they kept me off for 4 days because they had to put a balloon pump in, coronary stent had to be put in because they got twisted during surgery. So with all that being said, I'd like to thank them because the patience that they had with me, Liz and you, Andy, and Dr. Frank, and Linda, I get to meet you, but all y'all was part of that. And thank you, because if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be here today. As y'all well know, that's very serious. I mean, I was walking a time bomb, everybody said. And of course, Jehovah helped me that night when they come up, like I said, the breathing tube. I was crying because I didn't, I was just thankful to be here. And thank my parents for supporting, my friends there that came, and Leon is really encouraging. And my little job for Frito-Lay. They held my job for a year.
I'm going to buy it back when I go home.
Yeah, and speaking of that, which we didn't mention, the night before surgery, y'all, Dr. Cameron, which a surgeon, as I know of, very rare calls somebody the night before and tells them when time to be there for your surgery and what's going to happen. And he was talking to me, reassured me, because previously they only gave me a 30% chance to make it another hospital. This Johns Hopkins, Dr. Cameron, gave me at least a 70% chance. So I knew I felt better by having that kind of chance. He told me the night before, we was at the Inner Harbor that night, I remember it. And of course I was crying and bawling. I went outside the restaurant we were eating at. And he says, you're going to make it. You're a strong girl. You're little, but you're strong. And he was chomping on these potato chips that I'd given him the day before. He says, I just got out of surgery, and I'm enjoying these lovely potato chips that you're bringing me. He said, I'm always going to remember you because of these potato chips. So that kind of reassured me, and everything kind of went, there's so many things that's happened that we don't have, of course, Andy knows we don't have time for, but I tell you, everybody asked me at home, well, how could you do the surgery without blood? I don't understand. I just don't understand. But, the faith from the physicians, clinicians, everybody helping and trying to do wants to do the right thing. And personally, like I tell them, we Jehovah's Witnesses want the best possible care. People often say, because of our religion and what we feel, but regardless, the thing is, we want the best possible care. That's why we're going to places like Johns Hopkins. Places that will work with witnesses, because we are a witness to the community. People everywhere ask me. I mean, we were witnessing to people today, shopping. They said, what are you doing up here? And we tell them. So, it is bringing honor to Jehovah's name. That's the most important thing of all, that I'm still here. Jimmy Buffett, I'm a big Buffett fan, and he says, and then one of his things, that I'm still here, so.
Well, Tammy, we're glad you're here, and we're glad that we know you. So thank you so much for coming up. Wow. Well, I
I know you're not supposed to ask a woman her weight, but so one of the biggest challenges of Tammy's procedure was her size, okay? So I won't tell you how many pounds she weighs, but I'll tell you how many kilos she weighs. She weighs 40 kilos, okay? The normal patients we take care of weigh 70 kilos. So the amount of blood that you have in reserve in your body is directly related to your body weight, okay? So if she's 40 and normal is 70, she has almost half the amount of blood in her body that we normal people have, okay? So we didn't have much air to work with there, and that's why we had to get her hemoglobin up so high, up to 17, before we even took her to the operating room. So that's why she was an extra challenging patient, and I'm so glad that everything worked out for you.